and redistribute it and relicense it how you want. So let's say that I create a really cool software to pilot like a drone. And then Juho wants to take this software and actually use it to, I don't know, find all his socia in the world and like, I don't know, just do stuff with it. And he has the rights to do it. He even has the rights to use that software and just sell it to other people. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. The only point, which is really important, is that you're like a developer, so if Juho uses it to human trafficking, I'm not responsible for what Juho is doing. Even like nobody can come to me and say, oh, someone used your software to actually do something harmful. Apart from that, just do whatever you want. And commercially, this was really successful. Yes, please.
Yeah, I remember there was a story a while back about Xbox, like how terrorist organizations were using Xbox to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just an example how
can't
blame Microsoft for that.
Exactly, and it's kind of like a thing also, I mean, if you think about also like WhatsApp, everything goes through WhatsApp or Telegram. We can also ask, oh, is it really like ethical? But the license is pretty much saying, no, it's not. Or like it is to do whatever you want. We can now go back to here and we see that the permissive one, So, the permissive one, you have right to perform, so you can use it as much as you want. You have the right to display it. You have the right to copy it, so I can create a copy and I can send it. I can just recreate a copy even just for me. I can modify it, so I say, okay, this thing doesn't work exactly how I want, and I want to change it a little bit. And right to redistribute here is under some licenses, which is mostly I'm not responsible for what you are doing. And then right to sublicense, yes, so you are actually licensed to do whatever you want with the code. You can resell it and all this stuff. So the last response was mostly the copyleft. The copyleft was developed by association which is called Free Software Foundation, and they mostly they developed some certain of rules that made software free, or like how they see it as free, which is there's you can use the software how you want. So the developer, I cannot decide, oh, whoever made, like I made this software for drones, I cannot say to you who you cannot use to have like human trafficking. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. Then
I love human trafficking. I love human trafficking.
Yeah, exactly. So even if I hate Juho in this moment, I cannot stop him with my software. So then we have a right to change the software how we want, and then we have to the right to redistribute it through our friends or like anybody who wants, and then to share our changes. So if I modify something that Juho did, I still can redistribute it to the other Juho. And these are like the rules for making something free. But then the license is actually called copyleft, which is if I make something under the copyleft license, and then Juho uses, he actually needs to redistribute the software using my license. So it means that if he changed something, he necessarily need to make it public. So, and this actually brought to a lot of cases. For example, Android uses copyleft license because it uses a Linux kernel. It's maybe like for like non-technical people it's a little bit difficult, but the main point is Android is copyleft, and so all these companies that are modifying Android need at the same time, legally need to put the source code online and make it like copyleft. Is it clear?
Well, could you just like define like copyleft again one more time?
So let's say tell me a software that you would like to make. Any type of software.
Like a dating app, let's say.
Okay, you make a dating app, and you use your copyleft. So which also includes this free software. So I can use it how I want. I can.
As a user, you mean? Like,
yeah,
as user can like. Yeah.
Any person, user and developer, like I can use it how I want it. I can change it how I want it. I can redistribute it how I want it, and I can redistribute what I change on your software. And this is the free software. But then we go to the copyleft, which is you created a software, I changed it, but now because your software was copyleft, I also need to use your same license. Let's say, come here. It's like it makes sense because of the name, copyleft. So it's kind of like a timeline. You were the first developer. I'm the second one.
Yeah.
I need to copy left. I need to copy your license
Of
your software.
Yeah.
So I took your software and I changed it to make new software. So I need to take your license. I cannot take the one next to me. I just need to necessarily need to take the one from which I took from. Yes.
And if you take the copyleft from him, do you need to pay him to buy the copyleft? Or?
No, it's completely free. That's the point. But I necessarily need to copy it. If I use this software and I don't use these rules and this rule, it's illegal. And this is the difference.
How can you actually like sue someone for breaking licensing?
Well, you have the proof. Yeah, please. No, you're gonna stay here and like.
Yeah, how do you get proof for breaking licensing practically?
I mean, I think I heard. Okay, I didn't watch the video until the end, but let's assume that I from what I understood, it happened something like that, but I'm not sure. But let's say that, for example, Huawei. What happened, from what I understood, is Huawei took Android and made some modifications. Okay, we know that Android is copyleft, but Huawei didn't release the software and didn't make it free and didn't use the copyleft. So at that point, you know that Huawei is doing something legally wrong, but it's mostly like. I don't know. Obviously it's really difficult to, but it's just legally binding. So if you can prove it, you are infringing something that you made. We can always obviously also see that it becomes really difficult. Like licenses are not something that like a software can really like put. Like it's not that like if you install a free software. Is gonna and you try to change it and like put another license. The software itself is gonna like destroy what you or block you from what you do. It's more something that, as any law, you are supposed to follow. And if someone finds you not following it, you are in the wrong, and you are legally in the wrong, and they can fine you and all this stuff. Obviously, let's say that. I make a really cool algorithm or any piece of software, but I'm like me myself alone completely. And then you are like a multi-billion company, and you want to use that software, but you don't want to use my copyleft license. I can sue you and say, "Oh, you use my code," but it's obviously gonna be like a juridical battle. So you're gonna have like a army of a lawyer, and I'm gonna just go by myself and say, yeah, like he used my software. It's like it's important to understand that like how maybe limited, but it's these licenses can actually be, in the sense that it's possible until we are like in the room or like in the area of like any type of juridical battles. Understood?
Kinda. Well, well, a lot.
Please.
I want to ask who owns the data?
Which data?
is like the first one to make the software. He owned the developer own the data, right? And then some others to take the copyleft or other license, they can use the software, but who dealing with the data? Who has the rest of the data?
Actually, I don't know. I think for that is like
Isn't it EULA?
there should. I think there's probably gonna be because we're probably gonna be like some different type of license because we're licensing the software. I have no idea. It could be interesting to research maybe later and to do another research on that. But I think it's probably gonna be some type of like again. I think there we have mostly rather than like if I can imagine, I'm not sure, but I would imagine that it is the one that stores the data, and then we have like some rules, like the European rules, it is the GDPR, which protect your privacy as a user, and there are like specific rules that you need to do as if you with the data as a company. For example, I cannot. If you come to my website and you leave some type of data, I cannot resell it to Yuho without telling you. You have to agree at something so that like then I can resell it to Yuho without you without being illegal. But you have to agree. At least this is now with the GDPR. But there it's mostly I think it's probably gonna be like specific license for specific software than on top of like the normal software. But here we're mostly talking about like who owns in the sense of like specifically of the software. Then I think on the data we can see it on a layer on top. Someone else? 3? Okay. So maybe like we can go back to this graph.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, please.
So what if you find some good software on, let's say, GitHub or GitLab, and it's public but it doesn't have a license? Can somebody sue you for using that software?
Actually, I read that exactly that point, and apparently there is so there is the idea that you can do whatever you want, but it's not. And it's actually you are fully. It's the copyright. It's fully on the owner. So I don't think you can really do that much, but you have to research that specific case. But from what I remember is that it's not a public domain. It's public domain until you. I think they need to specifically say to you that it's public domain so that you can do whatever you want.
Right.
And that's like why we have like permissive licenses. But that's kind of like a point that I'm like it's interesting. I think it is really important to understand what type of like license we have, because we should when we use something that we find online, we need to know what we can do and what we cannot do, because obviously if we're doing like a small project, I don't think someone is coming to you and suing you, but if your entire company is based on that, it can be a major problem. But yeah, so the copyleft, as we are seeing here, so we have as before everything so we have the right to perform it, display, copy, modify, a right to distribute. I think license here it's meant actually that you can choose how to license it, and in copyleft we can't. The main point is you need to relicense it with the exact same license that you used. But apart from that, you pretty much can do whatever you want. Here, maybe later we can discuss on the entire like philosophy that there was behind it. But I don't think that right now it's so important. But like we can maybe have it like after. And actually, the presentation pretty much finished. I want to finish on a philosophical note, which is So we mostly were talking about who owns the code. But, and here I would like to tell a little bit of a story. But we all know the story of like the Lumiere's brother. Were they Lumiere's? I think so. That like made the like first film, and there was a train that went in the direction of the camera, and that was like projected in front of like a few people, and all the people in the cinema just started running away because they were afraid of the train coming towards them. And it's not that the people at that time were just like monkey brain and didn't understand that it was like an image, but it was that like it was a new technology. People didn't know what that was. And what we can see with that is that we would never run away from a picture of a train coming towards us, but they would. So we, as a species, evolved with the technology. So the question is, as developers, what do we owe to the evolution of humans, and how can we control that through license? So my answer is actually that we should try to use this type of like permissive or copyleft license to actually understand and have much more control on the direction where we're going. But maybe we can discuss it later on in the sauna. It's done. Thank you very much for listening.
Great.
Okay, so final questions, or maybe we can discuss it a little bit more, like a few things. But
Well, I actually have a question about if you can go back to the graph on yeah, that one. It's like League of Legends.